Barbara mentioned Roger Jericho, and one of the things that people forgot to realize with that is Roger served as a trustee and the mayor here in the village of Cold Spring. So you can see the connectivity from the village to the town to the county to the state. And that's what being better together is all about. As part of that, there's an election this year in the village of Cold Spring. And we're supporting candidates that are our friends, that are our neighbors, that believe in the things that we do. Freedom, liberty, and justice. And as part of that, homeowner rights and the whole gamut of things so that you can live your life without any fear or favor. Let me introduce to you Vincent Tamagna for mayor of Cold Spring.
So let's get a couple of these signs back here, and starting out right away by directing as mayor, right? And come on up, Cathryn and Jeff, please. Come stand right with us. Come on, behind you. I like that sign, that Better Together sign. Come on up here. All right, so, good afternoon. I'll tell you, contemporary politics at all levels of government has really bred a caustic culture. Its polarizing positions and divisive rhetoric has exhausted our society. Right? To turn this around, small governments and local municipalities must lead the way. At the most local level of government, we can demonstrate that people with different visions can come together to find common ground to help make their communities even better. Every community has challenges, and the team running this year has new ideas that will help improve the quality of our village. If we are to succeed at solving our problems, join me on the party line Better Together. We don't run in the village on a regular party line. We started our own, and I think that maybe the nation should take a look at creating a party that brings us all together under one tent. My primary goal in running for the office of the mayor of Cold Spring is to bring people together and restore a sense of community that in some ways has been lost. Village government needs to be welcoming and thoughtful. And it's funny, we're standing here, and I know Dan Birmingham, when he was on the legislature with me, will remember, I think you were in the deputy county executive at the time. This was a creation, this facility, the restrooms and the visitor center, was a partnership with Metro North, the county, and we got together with the village. At the time, it was Mayor Phillips, and we built this. It is amazing that I stand here today and that people come and that the restrooms are locked. I mean, there's no rest facility here. What sense does that make? And it puts a burden on the business community and doesn't exactly show or throw out a welcome carpet. It is my intent, though, to really put the residents first and to protect that sense of community that made Cold Spring the choice of many to live, work, and raise a family. Some of us have been here for generations, while others have chosen this place because of its abundance of charm. But I think we all want the same thing: a village government and leaders who put the interest of our residents first and above everything else. I recognize the village leadership is a balancing act. Indeed, we are better together, and there is nothing we can accomplish if we work at it. That is why I am proud to be running with the team, with Cathryn and with Jeff. The Better Together ticket will make the difference in how we succeed as a village and work with every level of government. Together, we will help where help is needed, improve those things that better the quality of life for our residents, and support businesses while protecting the environment and preserving this restful and bucolic character of the village of Cold Spring. So let's put political partisanship aside. In the village, we're really not about being on a red team or a blue team. Instead, we need to work together toward a better tomorrow for everybody. We're all on the same team. I come to you with a record of accomplishments, like securing the seed money for the new track at the Haldane School, 2 trolleys for Main Street, the partnership that created these restrooms again, Preserve America grants for Main Street and Scenic Hudson's Foundry Dock Park, and financial support to the village to support refuse cleanup at the end of a busy tourist season. Think of how the community came together to save the dock in the 1980s. I know Roger was a driving force there. They rebuilt that waterfront park and bandstand that was in a state of collapse. We still enjoy it today. That was over 40 years ago. What new has been done? It was done with vision, volunteerism, and community support. As it was then, I know now that together we can develop a clear, well-supported vision for our future, so that maybe someday people will stand in a place like this 40 years from now and say, look at what those who came before us were able to create and preserve. Over the next few months, you know, I am going to campaign like all heck. I'm going to knock on every single door, and I'll be visiting many of you personally and sharing my thoughts about what's at stake and how we could work toward a brighter future. At the local level, leadership is about answering the needs of our people by making sure the roads are plowed and safe to travel, drinking water is high quality, streets are paved, sidewalks are maintained, residential parking is available, law enforcement is supported and professional, recreation is enhanced, and people's concerns are addressed through a transparent plan that brings us all together. So where are we today? I believe that we're struggling, which is why this team is running. We're struggling to maintain what we once had. To develop a plan for our village, we must review existing policies and advance creative ideas. Unfortunately, today we have a tendency not to build, but to prohibit, to tear down without a plan to rebuild. The dockside property is off limits as you're greeted with yellow tape and a rope. Who are we keeping out? Our residents, of course. This begs the question, why? The Cold Spring Boat Club, a recent Superfund cleanup site, was razed, and there is no current plan to rebuild it. What has been taken from our community is much more than just a boat club. Indeed, it was a social outlet that I remember. Father's Day brunches, Sunday pancake breakfasts, and weekend get-togethers with friends, music, and neighbors enjoying one another. This is the fabric of what brought our community together for so many years, and we have lost it, and we need it back. Our sidewalks on Main Street leave much room for improvement. The current condition of our sidewalks risk lawsuits and ADA noncompliance. Moving forward, we need to plan to support our fire company, which has been inadequate for more than 20 years. We also need to remember to support all frontline volunteers, especially our local volunteers at the fire company and the Phillips Volunteer Ambulance Corps. An innovative solution to parking congestion for our residents and businesses needs the continued discussion, as does the focus on village lighting and tourist parking. And here it comes, I'm closing. So in closing, I want you to know I will work very hard. We'll develop a plan that will work for us today and consider a better tomorrow, so that future generations will be proud to call Cold Spring the place they call home. I realize the challenge and understand that our successes can only come from cooperation and by bringing our residents' talents and ideas together. I want to say I think we all need to relate to one another. And I just lost a very dear friend, 98 years old, Dr. Frank Bumpus. I learned a lot from him. And while I was at home last summer, I had another new friend pop into my life. And that's Cooper. Cooper, come over here a minute. Come on, come over here. So Cooper likes chickens. I have chickens in my backyard, and I see this little green helmet bobbing along my deck. And it was this guy who told his class he has a best friend, Vinny. And I will say that I have a best friend, Cooper. Right, Cooper? And you know what? We could relate to every generation and every age. And I want to thank you and your mommy and everybody for coming down. And Nonna, too. Thank you. So again, let's close this and let's all realize we're better together. Thank you. All right, and the trustees are going to give you. I hope it's as long as mine was, right? No. Anyway, Cathryn, Fadde, and Cathryn, it's a pleasure to have you running.
Thanks everybody for coming. I think most of you know me. I've lived in the village now, except for a little 2-year stint to Wappingers, 26 years. I've had my restaurant on Main Street. June 23rd, it's going to be 24 years old. I served on the Chamber of Commerce as president with Vinny, so I like being on Vinny's team. I also was a trustee for one term that finished about 5 years ago, so I know how the board works, and I know how it doesn't work, and it doesn't work when you don't work together. I think I really worked hard to get things done with the board that I was with. But if I could have a team like this, we could really get the bathrooms open and do all the things that Vinny said, or at least we'll have partners in town and county government that will help us get those things. A village budget doesn't necessarily have the money to keep the bathrooms clean, but I'm sure we could find a partner or two that would help us. So I hope you'll vote for our team, Better Together, and let us get the village back where it belongs, and that means in the future, not back, but forward. Thank you.
And now also for trustee Jeff Phillips.
Thank you. I was born and raised here, and my first job was the local paper boy. I think I know every street in Cold Spring and the outskirts. And as I wrote on them then, and I compare it to how they look now, they need a little work. And along with recreational properties, I played ball many years, and we just don't put enough into what we need to put in. So that's why I'm running. I think we are better together. We do need to have other people involved, not just the village, but the town and county. So that's my spiel. Thank you.